Let's check now some elements that will motivate the producers in order to develop an origin-linked product strategy. The lack of value chain organization, because we know that origin-linked product can allow for strengthening the value chain. There is also a need to protect the name or protect traditional name, so a need of legal protection. There is also some different elements in relation to the production practices that can be taken into account, strengthening the production practices, codifying production practices, or integrating some further elements such as environmental or social conditions of productions. Other elements, such as willingness to value traditional product and value the territory where they are located. There is also the willingness to build a strong economic sector and not to be alone in front of the big markets. There is also the willingness to strengthen the communication of the product, and we know that origin-linked product strategy allow for implementing these types of motivations. What do we need in order to implement an origin-linked product strategy? We need, first of all, one product or several products. We need a product with know-how, specific quality, specific characteristics. These characteristics shall be linked to the geographical territory. We need also men, women, institutions, all the people that develop the product. We need, of course, the territory where the product is based. We need the IPR tool, and we need also to define a strategy and to implement a project. The outcome that is looked for is the valorization of the products, the men, women, and the territory. What are the different steps in relation to the implementation of origin-linked product strategy? First of all, we need to identify the product and its potential in relation to the origin branding. And also, the origin-linked product shall meet a concrete need from part of the producers. We need to organize some preliminary meetings to identify the needs, the stakeholders, their willingness to implement the strategy, and then we need to draft a concrete strategy to implement the project. There is also a need to define collectively the objectives, because we are speaking about collective approaches. Speaking about drafting the origin-linked product management system, it will be linked with the specification of the product, the content of the specifications. It will be also the control methods, internal control, external control, certification, etc. Origin-linked product strategy needs also a business plan, which is very important because we speak about economic strategy. There is also a need of organizing the producer group as associations, syndicates, different types of institutions. We need to think about the origin-linked product protection, trademark and/or geographical indication. And then we need to consider the daily implementation of this origin-linked product strategy branding. In terms of strategy conditions, there are different types of elements which are very important to consider. First of all is the ability to organize and to work together. In some countries, producers are not able to work together. So there is a strong effort to implement in order to think about the collective implementation of the project. Also, the producers and many stakeholders will need some capacity buildings, strengthen skills on activities that producers are not necessarily used to, which is very important. And also, a last point, which is very important, is the available human and financial resources that make the project sustainable. The origin-linked product is an element of the common heritage, so it has to be a shared strategy among the stakeholders. Origin-linked product strategy rely on group of producers. This group of producers will have specific missions we will define in another e-learning. We explained previously that origin-linked products shall give some guarantee to the consumers and the markets. So, there is a quality scheme to implement. This quality scheme is based on two components. First of all, specifications that will define the product, its assets, and also conditions of production. But we will need also a control system that will check the specifications. How does the origin-linked product scheme work? It is a combination of different elements. The involvement of origin-linked product group, but also the good implementation of the specification and the good implementation of the control and the monitoring that can be made by the origin-linked product too. What are the potential risks to take into account when defining origin-linked product strategy? First of all, the case of the monopoly. Monopoly in favor of the most powerful actor in the geographical area. It will be also fair or unfair exclusion of certain type of actors because of the delimitation of the geographical area or because of the technical constraints. Another case will be the additional costs of the strategy. For small farmers, it would be difficult to pay control or certification costs to fit with the new specifications. And sometimes the benefits of the strategy can be captured, but out of area actors. There are different types of activities that can be undertaken by the Producers Association, such as the definition and the management of product specifications. Also, they can ensure standard production and the quality of the product. Some of them can make collective marketing of the product among all the members. Another activity can be the protection activity of the product and the members. At least there can be some partnerships with other stakeholders to enhance the promotion and the trade of the concerned products. What can be the daily management of the origin-linked product? It can be the monitoring of the specification compliance. It would be also to look for the census of the stakeholders and the balance between them. The origin-linked product group of producers shall be the focal point for everybody, including public institutions. Let's check now some important elements in terms of market access of this kind of products. First of all, we need to take into account the respect of the legal framework, labeling, quality, compliance, GIs, trademark, etc., etc., because all depends on the market of destination of the products. The products shall be adapted to tastes and gastronomic practices. So be careful when you want to introduce a very new product on external markets. There is today a need to have some partnerships with influencers, such as blogs, for instance, for gastronomic products. The packaging is also an important element because there can be some evocation on the origin, on the quality, on the use of the product. Packaging is very important in order to provide some information on the product and to provide some important element of the assets of the product within the origin-linked product strategy. In terms of communication, it is important to define a strategy of communication most of the time at the same time of the definition of the specification among the stakeholders. So the strategy shall be defined and the group of producers shall define also some specific tools that will be adapted to the markets. What is the chronology of actions to implement the Orange-Link product strategy? First of all is the state of play, the stakeholders' identification, but also the assessment of the product and its content in terms of value, origin, quality. We need to define also the strategy linked with the Origin-Link products. In terms of implementation of the project, we need to define some specifications, a way to control these specifications. We need to set up some specific tools using intellectual property rights. We look for the recognition of these tools. And also, in terms of implementation, there is a real need of follow-up and daily management, which is very important in terms of activities of the group of producers.